Welcome back to an episode on this channel, Prophecy for the Last Hour. I hope that you will subscribe to this channel if you're new, that you will like this video, share it. There's a lot of good meat, as I always say. So the soul, the whole concept of the Jewish soul, our soul is really in a prison here. When we come down to earth, we kind of, the whole idea, we're descending into a prison, or to be contained in this this earthly body. All right, the soul that is in heaven with the angels at the throne room, and it's having a great time. It's praising Elohim. It's free of all the, oh my gosh, the pulling on it, the distractions of the lower world, all this stuff, and it's just enjoying it. And then it's got to go down into flesh, into who knows what kind of life you're going to get. I mean, it's so interesting how it's very traumatic. All right, okay, but let me not get ahead of myself. This philosophy is through all of the writings. All right, now Philo and Josephus, they're always great first century people to go to prove a point, because I mean they were there and they did extensive writings that at this point are extremely reliable. All right, so according to Philo, it says the soul exists before it enters the body. Okay, and this is a huge principle. Again, Western Christian, we need to understand our soul. We need to start to love. You can love your soul, all right? That's the whole point. You got to love it enough to save it, all right? If you don't love, when it says love, you don't love your soul enough to disentangle it from all the tears that are trying to entwine it and kill it and destroy it, okay? Your soul is an eternal part of Elohim. He gave it to you. This is the point, all right? You have, and you need to save it, all right? You got to love your soul enough to try to save, or other people's, all right? Save other people's souls. We're all in this thing together. This is what we need to be very conscious of each other's souls. All right. So according to Philo, the soul exists before it enters the body. Which is a prison house, which death liberates it from. All right. And I need to explain what death is, because some people out there, they say that, the soul is not immortal because it dies. Well, that's not what it's saying. In the theology of the thing, that's not what it's saying. All right. So we'll get there. And it is to return to Elohim and live in constant contemplation of him, which is man's highest destiny. And believe me something, don't ever think it's going to be boring. You're going to be up there on a cloud like, oh my gosh. The delights of Elohim are beyond anything we can understand. Eyes not seen, ears not heard. There's nothing in this earthly, quote, garden of delights that can even give us a foreshadow understanding of how wonderful. And anyone who's had a true mystical, ecstatic spiritual experience and then comes back and will tell you, oh my God, all of life becomes so mundane. It's like, oh my gosh, why do I gotta be here when, oh my gosh, everything's alive out there, the colors, so anyways, so Philo is totally on board that this is, because he is one of the greatest Jewish theologians of his time. Okay, Josephus also writes, because this idea of the immortality soul is, the Pharisees believed it, the Essenes believed it. It was very much prominent in early Christian writings, the early ecclesia. But he writes in that the first century Pharisees, that they believe that souls have an immortal vigor or immortal life in them, all right? And that under the earth, this is really interesting, there will be rewards or punishments according to how as they have lived virtuously or viciously in this life. And the latter are to be detained in everlasting prison, but the former shall have power to revive and live again. I mean, that's like so quote unquote Christian in its orientation. Well, because we are, our whole theology comes out of Hebrew roots, all right? So this idea of hell, next how I would like to teach you on hell, because we don't have the correct Hebraic understanding of what it is. But the point is that souls, and this is talking about the Nefesh soul, even the lowest level of our soul, if our Nefesh soul is made up of immortal forces, elements, particles, whatever you programs, all right? You cannot, only upon death, does the window operating system of the Nefesh soul close out, all right? And then the two part their ways, all right? So the fact that the soul goes somewhere, all right? But that's not necessarily the focus of this teaching. We'll come back and get into that. Now, how do some other, I'm going to touch on a couple other really deep concepts in this thing. In the Clementine Homilies, which is a really awesome, writing that has surfaced, and it's very much in line with early Essene Nazarene ecclesia, all right? So I think it's a very safe book to read. So let me give you this quote, and it says, but in addition to these, it's talking about the Moshiach, it's talking about Yeshua, all right? Until he coming upon his own times, right? Yeshua came in the fullness of time, and being anointed with mercy for the works of Elohim, he shall enjoy rest forever. So he came, he did what he's supposed to do, and now he's back up, sitting at the right hand of the Father forever. His honor is to bear rule and lordship over all things, right? Isn't that what the text saying? In air, earth, and water. See, this is this is just, you understand, this is a code where they're saying, yes, in the world, now he is Lord and Master over. And this is the thing that Yeshua, we have to understand. He became Lord and Master over all of there's a word. Over all of the world of Asiya and Yetzirah and the rebellious angels, or, demon, everything that was in them. All right. He totally, through a plan, was able to get in there, infiltrate, rectify, make peace, completely make a way for people to get out of that, especially the Gentiles, out of that entanglement problem and back up to the Father. So, but in addition to these, having been made man, in other words, he had to take on, this is what's interesting, a Nefesh soul life, all right? To me, he comes from the world of Yahya, which is the world of Moshiach. He comes from the world of Chaya, all right? But he comes from oh my gosh, it's so deep, I can't even, but the point is, when it says that he incarnated in lower than the angels, it's talking about the world of Yetzirah, which is the world of angels, all right? Oh, and I have to make one really, really, really important point about that. I forgot. He had to get lower than them in order to do a work that would help him to get those, the righteous souls up above them, okay? So, but in addition to these, having made himself being made man, he had breath. See, again, he had breath. He had Neshama, or actually, he had life in him. See, Yeshua says, look at, I have life in me. Don't worry about it. I have the right to lay my life down, to lay that down, and to pick it up again. I am master of life. Doesn't matter. I have higher programs ready. Don't worry about it. He tells his disciples, they can kill me. They can't kill my soul. They can't kill, where I come from. I come from way beyond these guys. All right? If I'm a king, they have no clue what I'm a king over. It's just kind of funny when you... Okay, I'll get through this verse. He had breath, the indescribable garment of the soul, that he might be able to be immortal, even in Nefesh soul life. See, this is a huge philosophical concept, theological concept. I can't flush it all out, but we have to understand is he came to redeem especially our Nefesh soul life, which had fallen into the clutches, of the handler. See, this is when Hasatan, who is the king over the world of Asiya, okay, that's why he works in very close alignment with, this world of Yetzirah, the lower levels, where angels that are in his bidding, in his hierarchy, so they obey him, and he has sway over us because of the fall, because of the mixing of it's so, okay, but what my point in all that was just to say, it says here that he might be able to be immortal in all levels. His immortality, he was, but he came to redeem us, to attach us to him. So as he rose, so to speak, we can rise with him. You can't make stuff up. It's very beautiful. Now, let me just say this too, because I had to say this. Angels and demons are ancient words. So let's not get tripped up, and let's not, and I prefer them anyways, are actually the world of words that describe the functionaries in the world of Yetzirah. And they really are our thoughts, our memories, our feelings, our emotions. All right? They all have quote unquote wings because they come and go. So in this world of air, in this world of wind, where things just come and go, it's like a thought. It just comes into your head. I mean, seriously, my husband this morning, he woke up and honestly, he's a great, righteous Sadiq. I love him. And he was really funked out. He's like, oh my God. I mean, he was under a battle of his mind over falling into negativity, you know, and it was there. I mean, he didn't ask, he just woke up with this heavy cloud of negativity engulfing his soul, and he had to fight, to put on the armor and kind of fight through it and say no. And so it's like almost, it's like, I tried like a computer program, don't click the pop-up window. Just don't even click on it, all right? Because then you open yourself up. If you give Satan, you know, a toehold, he's going to push his foot through the whole door. He's going to blow up in the door. And then, you know, it's going to be a lot more harder to extricate him, okay? So this idea that our thoughts, our memories, our feelings and emotions, these are all, this is the good inclination, the bad inclination, this war that goes on in us. And we need to redeem. This is so much of what deliverance and healing, inner healing ministry is all about. So many people are understanding this world on these kind of levels of getting us free in this world of Yetzirah, where we have major trauma, we have scars, we have besetting sins, we have things that we do that we have no control, addictions. These deeds, and really what they are, even on a if you want to go the whole other side of the spectrum, energies. All right, so you can go very scientific about this, in the sense, use language that kind of is very scientific, or you can stick with the anthropomorphic language, but they're both saying the same thing. Okay, that's what's important to understand. All right, so angels and demons are thoughts and memories, feelings and emotions. They have wings because they come and go. That's the whole concept. And this is called the astral level, all right? So when you astral project, or if you're into any of these, you know, this is the world of sorceries and witchcraft and magic where they manipulate. I mean, it is a very dark, evil, perverse, profane, rebellious, dark place. And if you're caught up in any of that stuff, go either fall on your knees, ask Hashem through his emissary, Yeshua, to save you, to set you free, or find somebody else who can pray for you. I mean, you got to love your soul enough to get free from that, because that will bring you down to a permanent level called death, from which there is no escape. Okay? So it is a really high stakes game. All right? Now, this is a little snippet from this book, The Apocalypse of Peter. I mean, these apocalypses, it's just, you got to understand the keys, because they're very coded, encrypted, but, you know, I think I'm getting there, we're getting there, people are beginning to understand this level. So, because this is another really, I just want to touch on this, because open people's eyes. For evil cannot produce good fruit. Now, we know that. A good tree can't produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. Well, what is that kind of referring to? Trees, biblically in the Bible, on many levels are used. One, they do represent people. Let me put it this way. It says that when angels see us down here, they see us as trees walking about. Seriously. Because what they're saying is they can see all of our programs. They see us way more than we see each other. All right? All you see is my physical outer shell. You cannot see the programs, so to speak, that are running in my Yetzirah soul-like programs or in my Neshama. But the angels can see them. Okay? So for the place from which each of these is produces that which is like itself. Because this is the thing, like produces like, right? So, but the thing is that every soul is of the truth, nor of immortality. because of the war, because what happened in the fall, there was an opening for other kind of souls to get in here. Okay, souls. So this is one part of the cycle. This is something very deep and hidden. Most people don't really understand. And this is what's all going to come out in the light. The Luciferians are going to be exposed. This whole concept of how they cycle in and out with Nefesh life force energy. Okay, so not every soul is of the tree of life. All right, there are souls that come from the other side. Okay, and they get born, and there's all ways. I mean, there's so many deep. So I just want to say this because someday I'll do these teachings on sexuality. People have no clue. You have no clue. I had no clue. Let me tell you something. Oh my gosh. When you go to procreate a child, you are really determining what soul they get into their body. This is why the marriage bed should be undefiled, why it should only be in a marriage bed, why it should be in a covenant relationship with people who worship Hashem, because when you fornicate, we have what gates, is the best way, gates we are opening in the other worlds, and what souls can come through. I mean, if you look at generational sins, if you look at generational, this is the whole point. The seed of the serpent, generational groups that have just stayed in utter wickedness and depravity and darkness. I mean, this is such a deep subject, but people, we need to understand this. This is why holiness and chastity, these things are so important, and why we're just losing the battle because people have no clue what's going on. You just go out there. That's why at the end of the age, I mean, it's a mess because of the souls that are coming in, because of the lifestyles. This is what he was always telling Israel. Would you just stay home, marry within your tribe, keep it in the house, because you have no idea what gates, we just said, gate of other soul lives you're bringing in. And there's so many other ways they come in. But so anyways, I just had to touch on that. All right, so, but this is a quote, but the immortal souls are not like these, because our souls come, the souls of the righteous, because look at, Yahweh knows the beginning from the end. So your soul, every soul, he knows already where souls are coming from, what they're going to do down here, where they're going to go back, if they're going to go to hell. I mean, this is all known by him. So, but we don't. So, okay. But immortal souls are not like these. And I just want to interject this. This is the all right, I'll come back. Right, I'll go to that thought next. Let's stay on this one. Okay. But the immortal souls are not like these, O Peter. But indeed, as long as the hour has not yet come, the immortal soul, the Sadiq soul, inside of the Kodesh soul, shall resemble a mortal one. So really, when you look at somebody, you don't know if they have a Kodesh soul, or you don't know if they have a wicked soul. From the other side, you really don't know, right? But it shall reveal its nature, that it alone is the immortal one, and thinks about immortality, having faith and desiring to renounce these things. So in other words, you can eventually tell by fruit, because this is one of the keys. You'll know a tree by its fruit. You have to do that. But ultimately, this is the point, that we will shine in our immortal soul. What's inside us, that will finally be able to come out, and the nations, the world, all will see it. All right, we will shine like lights from our souls. Their bright nature, they're full of light. This is the whole kind. Will come forward out of all of this dense. It'll break, so this shell will be broken, and we will shine like lights. Now, there's another point I have to make in that. That's not like the whole story. Okay, so let me go to this, that the soul of man was created on the first day, Adam Caveman. Okay, now this is he says he has foreknown us from before the foundations of the world, okay? That's what it's saying. But thus it says, when the soul of Adam, and inside of Adam Caveman, this concept were all the souls. So, okay. So everything, like I said, everything is put inside another container, and then all that gets put inside another container. That's how it works. So the original soul of Adam Caveman included all of us, and then our souls were put inside, genealogically, like compress the DNA into the first, man of Adam, and then we kind of come through. Oh, it's all it works on all levels. I just can't flush out every single one. But with the soul of Adam, the souls of all generations of men were created, okay? They are stored in a promptuary, which I think again, like in a place, in a garden. All right, he talks about, in his house, in my Father's house. I mean, there's many ways to it, but in the seventh of the heavens, and this is again refers to the Sephirotic tree of life, which is all the heavens and the earth and the upper heavens. It's all plotted and charted there. Whence they are drawn is they are needed for the human body after human body. Now, I want to say this because this is the whole concept of the pomegranate. Remember, the pomegranate was a very important archetypal motif in the temple, and it was on the hem of the garments of the high priest. Pomegranates were put up very prominent in carved into a lot of the architecture of the temple and stuff, because a pomegranate, the point is in this, you open it up and there's all these little seeds, and it's sort of a pictorial of all the little souls that were in Adam. So think of Adam Caedmon as the whole pomegranate, the fruit that Yahweh made, and then inside it you open up all these other potential seeds of life, soul life. Okay, that's what they're kind of expressing in all of that. But see, just another way, there's so many, this language, see, just let me give this out too, another way, the coded ways of this language, giving this information. If you were raised as a good Jew, especially as a mystical Torah Jew on many levels, you would understand all this stuff. Unfortunately, Gentile, we got to really work hard to get ourselves up to speed. But what else are you going to do? Get your soul up to the level of Maria and enjoy, I call it, this is why they call it the Heavenly Academy. Learn from the angels, learn the higher truths. Anyways, Simon B. Lakish interprets, this is a famous sage, he interprets, my beloved is Elohim, who has descended into his garden, all right, to the bed of spices, all right, to gather lilies, all right, from the earth. Now, okay, so that's very pictorial, very pretty, but what does it mean? Seriously, you just can't think these guys are just writing poetry. No, they are conveying deep truths in these words. So let me now break that down. My beloved is Elohim, right? Obviously, he's the beloved, who has descended into his garden, which is equated with the world, all right? This is to the bed of spices, all right? So this is where the word, he planted a vineyard. This is how Noah planted a vineyard. He planted a garden, a place for souls. So in other words, my beloved is descending into his garden, into his souls that he's created, all the way down into his gardens. So the word bed is really referring to a garden bed. When they reclined on their couches, see, they had sort of bad translation. They didn't know there was in their garden beds. Okay, all the nations of the world were given a kind of a garden bed. They were planted somewhere in the earth. That was the whole point, with Noah and the 70 nations and dividing of the land. Okay, everybody go off. Everybody's got a little piece of earth. You got a little garden bed now. Go plant and be fruitful, multiply, and just get along with each other. All right, but that didn't happen. But so Israel is to feed in the gardens, which is the nations of the world, and to gather lilies, the righteous souls whom he removes by death from the midst of them. See, now, if I can get into this concept now of death, but let me go back to this. So we have my beloved, who is Elohim, has descended into his garden. All right, he planted a garden. He put his righteous souls in lower levels, and it's called a garden of places of occupation. This is where they're going to be planted. All right, but he came all over the world, but he came to gather his lilies. This is why Yeshua is a lily of the valley of the highest order, in the sense that are righteous souls. He is looking for, see, this is the thing, he planted, because bunch of seeds got planted. Not all the seeds are going to grow up. We know it's going to grow up and ultimately be harvested as lilies, as the most beautiful plantings, and those blossoms will be brought up into a heavenly kingdom. So this is kind of all the understanding that's couched in a lot of this. Now, in this world of Yetzirah, there is, I don't know if I just want to try to keep this a little bit more simple, because I'm going to have to come back to this. There's a thing out there called, the Nefesh soul life, which is what I'm talking about, and our Ruach, which is, think of it like a thermostat. You can be hot for the cold Lord, you can be cold for the Lord. It's our barometer. Is a subtle. So Nefesh soul life, let's just say this life that is in the blood, is known by every culture. The ancients understood it, because this is actually very Enochian, and that understanding was in all the earth, and this is found in a lot of cultures. So it's called Qi in Chinese understanding, Qi, Q-I, or Qi, C-H-I, Qi. So you can, Qi, they're talking about the Nefesh soul life, all right? Nefesh in Hebrew. This is the concept with the yin and the yang, It's also called prana, and I think prana, that is the Hindu word for it, Prana, or something called the aura, So even our Nefesh soul life, they know this now. They really need to see this. It is emanating energy waves, because it's in a level now of energy. It's not dense matter. It's in the blood. It flows through it. Just think of that computer program. It flows through it. It's the program that's animating, that's allowing my arm to go up, my mouth to move. And it is energy. It is force. It is flow. It is flux. It is, it underlies all of reality. This is something that the ancients, and especially, has been retained by the Eastern understandings. In Western term, we might think of it as energies, waves, and particles with extreme high frequency fluctuations. Science didn't tell you, the Bible didn't already tell us. Prana is said to be a universal energy that vivifies or gives life to everything. Nothing new here. It is the life force in all biological beings. So especially everything that was created on the 5th and the 6th day, has this nefesh, this prana, this chi. Now, unfortunately, in Western science, it regards it as inanimate or inert matter. It doesn't recognize that it is a living energy. All right. So Western science has never paid attention to what life energy is. That is our problem. But in the rest of the world, everything is considered alive. Even crystals, rocks, atoms, they all have the life force in them. And this is why in the different animal kingdoms, there is levels of chai, of prana, of nefesh running in everything in all creation. It is alive, Now, this is what the sages will tell you. There are two sides to this coin, and this is where it gets into the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Part of this world of matter, the winds, let me see this, the four corners of earth, the four elements of the earth, and the four winds of heaven there are parts in it that were thrown down out of heaven. See, this is the concept of the satanic influence, evil implication, that are still running. They're not dead yet. They're not put out of commission yet. And this whole story, they will be, all right? They will meet their demise soon and very soon. But because those energies, which are intelligent entities and life forces, still function at will in the worlds of Asiyah, in the world of Yetzirah. That's what we're warring against. Another way to put it, Yeshua, and Paul said in Ephesians 6:12, our struggle is not against flesh and blood. It's really not against the flesh and the body, the apar, A-P-A-R, you know, our body, I'm not warring against your body, I'm warring against the Nefesh program that's running in you that is making your body come at me with a knife, okay? That's what I'm worried about, okay? That program that's forcing its will through the body, that's what demon possession in every way is, okay? Okay. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, the authorities, the principalities and the powers, and this world's dark demonic forces, and against the spiritual forces, okay? This is all referring to the angelic demonic powers controlling and this is like the subliminary world, sphere, realm of changing nature. And this is something that, this is probably, I'm going to end here, I'm going to come back to this, because this is something I will flesh out next. But let me just finish this. The subliminary sphere was the realm of changing nature, beginning with the moon up to the limits of the universe. Everything in classical astronomy was permanent, regular, and changing cycles. This is the concept of the Mazal and the Mazaroth, and the fourth, this is the fourth heaven, the sun was down. Is this, let me just tell you this, in the whole Sephiroth tree of life, the knowledge of the tree of good really functions in the lower half of this. So from the fifth day down, from the fourth day down, the sun, moon, and the stars, which are called the world of these fallen angelic energies, this is their playground. They can operate there basically at will. There's so much, see, if we would understand this theology and we would understand our authority and how we can bind them, we can limit their influence, we can get them out of our life, the life of our neighborhoods, our cities, our family. You know, if we really rise up in our authority, this is all part of this. But this was the region where the planets and stars are located. This is where only the power of nature holds sway. So, this is how Yeshua, because see, how he could calm the waves and the waters literally. He just walked in the higher dimensions all the time. It was nothing to him. I mean, seriously. And great saints, great mystics, great Moshiach at different times, our patriarchs, here's in the Bible, have walked at that level of soul programming, so to speak, where they could just click on the boom, you know, part the waters, do whatever was necessary to save Israel. I mean, some of the stories you got to read. Oh my gosh, I love that book, Legend of the Jews. When you really read the heroic things that people like David or Joab, his general, did in the war, I mean, it's superhuman. How did these people, Samson, how does somebody do that? Seriously, you do it because you are able to access, it's not your Nefesh soul life program running, you are really using your body, mind, everything together, operating on such high levels of soul programming. I hope people can understand that. I mean, I see and understand so clearly. So this one, we're climbing the ladder, we're getting back to that point. Yeshua said, the works that I do shall you do also. We need to grab this, believe this, function and flow in this, but we cannot do it until we were completely holy and pure and clean and have our Nefesh and our Ruach cleansed from all of this, these impurities, these uncleannesses, these entities, okay? So this is the truth, okay? So this is why, and this will explain the whole you know, the evil inclination. So we live in this world where we are literally entangled inside like a tear on our soul, and we have to root these things out. And you do that by keeping Torah. All right, you do that. You have to do, you know, you are the master of your own house. We have to do that, and we have to love our soul to enough to want to do that and to want to do that for other people. So on that note, I'm going to come back because I want to talk about, again, it's called the spiritual roots in our body, and I want to talk about good midos, character traits, how keeping mitzvah has always been a sure, I mean, even with Enoch, I mean, this is, you know, the Noah had levels. There are levels of keeping the mitzvahs that will just totally keep you out of the clutches, you know, of these praying energies. And the thing is, it's so deep because, I mean, and this prana, this Nefesh soul life that is so close to the demonic level, to death, these programs, that the enemy, what's happening is the enemy is able to almost, not only can he open gates, okay, insert negative energies, he can cause the underworld. See, you gotta see how it hierarchically works there. The underworld, his dominion, even lower than these planes of earth, the lower level, the abyss, the waste places. See, this is where Satan and his minions have to go when they recycle. The righteous go up to the Garden of Eden in souls. And I was going to say, you know, this really is reincarnation. I mean, I'm not teaching it yet, but pretty soon, I mean, it's so beautiful. It's evident. It's all over the writings. I mean, why should we fight against it? You know, why kick against the pricks? If Yahweh wanted to give us many lifetimes to purify our soul, praise Hashem, because if that's what it takes, that's a pretty awesome Elohim, pretty loving Father. So, the lower levels, also the demonic, these things come up out of the earth into our planes of physicality existence, and they prey on us, and they prey on our nefesh. They need to get inside, they need to get, and they need to eat as food, so to speak. This is kind of our nefesh, in order to stay vibrationally, you know, in this plane and level so that they can do their damage. I mean, it is so crazily deep. So anyways, hey, on that note, shalom, blessings. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe, do like, do share, and always just cry out, just help. You know, he's a loving Elohim. He is closer than our very breath. Shalom.